really excited to introduce everyone listening to Chris Malta, eBay Radio's product sourcing editor. Now, Chris's position in the Internet world and on eBay is as one of, and correct me if I'm wrong here, one of the leading providers of wholesale product sourcing services for Internet marketers and eBay marketers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, what actually led to your formation of Worldwide Brands? How did that come about?
Well, I think Worldwide Brands really came out of an incredible amount of frustration with the really poor quality of product sourcing information on the Internet. Back in the late 90s, I was trying to start an Internet store business, and of course I needed to find wholesalers to work with if I wanted to sell products online. Now, I was familiar with the concept of drop shipping, and I knew that my best bet to get into selling brand-name products online for the least startup cost was to find drop shippers of the stuff I wanted to sell. So I started searching the net for drop shippers, and of course, right away, I ran into all the multi-level marketing and uplines and downlines and sidetracks and middlemen and scam artists that are, still out there with that information today. Thousands of people are out there claiming to be wholesalers on the Internet who really are just middlemen for some other company that's getting their stuff from somewhere else, that's getting their stuff from somewhere else, and so on. And, everything I found was just terrible. And I researched everything.
Well, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Chris. It's really important when you're selling on a web store to have the lowest possible price because so many Internet shoppers today are so savvy and do their comparison shopping.
Especially in eBay because it's a price-driven market.
Yes.
You need to work with the direct wholesaler. You cannot afford to go through middlemen. If you want to get the best wholesale price on something, you've got to go right to them. You can't go to someone 2 or 3 more links down the food chain because every link in that food chain takes its own profit from the products you're buying. By the time the product gets to you, the prices are too high, and you can't make it work on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, I spent a few months spinning my wheels with the junk wholesale contact list that had been out there for years, and the new ones that are still seeming to come out every month or so. I was looking for real wholesalers who would drop ship a single item directly to my customers for me. I was really getting nowhere, so I decided to put my experience in real wholesale to work for me. I'd spent years as I grew up dealing with wholesale suppliers. Through getting started with my mother, I knew how to talk to them. I knew what they wanted from me, so I tossed out all the stuff I'd bought and started researching wholesalers on my own from scratch. And after a few months, I tracked down about 10 or 11 real wholesalers who did drop ship. Now, my experience with all the junk lists that flood the Internet was still irritating to me because those people were still out there lying to people, in my opinion, and claiming to be the ultimate or the central or the world's best and directories of drop shippers, and I knew they weren't. So I wrote an article about it, detailing my own search for real drop shippers, and I submitted that to a few of the bigger e-zines, and it got picked up by WebPro News. And
that's a big one.
It is. They're real great people over there. And they liked it so much they asked me to write a follow-up for it, detailing how I actually did the research. And when I did that, it was amazing because they had actually published my email address along with the article. And WebPro and myself, we could just get an avalanche of email. Everybody wanted my sources. And there's a lot of frustrated people out there.
You hit a chord.
And, of course, I couldn't just give that information away. I mean, I'd worked really hard for it, for months. And if I gave it to everybody, my own online store was going to suffer for it. So decided to go on a little one-man crusade to clean up product sourcing information on the Internet. Back then it was a David and Goliath thing, but we're getting better at it now. So I created what I called the Dropship Source Directory, and I started researching new wholesale dropshippers on a regular basis and began selling the directory online. And Worldwide Brands was formed a few months later. 2,000 products. And today we have our Dropship Source Directory, Light Bulk Wholesale Directory, represent more than 2 million products from genuine wholesalers. And every one of those wholesalers has been pre-qualified by us, and we guarantee that they'll be willing to work with a small home-based Internet business. These companies know they're in our directories. They want to be there. And our research team stays in contact with them so that we can update their information as we need to. And we've moved into software development now, creating what we call the Market Research Wizard, and we have several more software products in development. And now, as we talked about earlier, we are involved in Internet radio as well. I do the eBay Radio product sourcing segment, and I host the Entrepreneur Magazine eBiz radio show. So we're just working out of our offices in Orlando, Florida. getting ready to speak on a couple of panels at eBay Live this year, and been a long, hard road, but we've been recognized now as the best source of product sourcing information available, and that's great. It's a real payoff for all those years of hard work. Most people don't realize how much work goes into that, Ellen. I mean, really, we are actually on the phone with these companies. We don't just look somebody up on the internet and say, well, that looks good, let's throw them in,
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a lot of work. We are jam-packed. I mean, actually paying overtime right now, researching companies for products. And one of the things we do, my partner, Rob, right now, is in Las Vegas. He's out hitting trade shows all over the country. So far he's done, this trip he's done Atlanta, Los Angeles, Las Vegas. He's on his way to Seattle, back to Orlando, up to D.C., hitting trade shows and gathering information, meeting wholesalers. So this is a full-time thing. And it's all product sourcing information.
That's valuable, though. If you're going to sell on eBay or online on the internet, like you said, you've got to have a source, and it's got to be as close to the original as possible, the originator of the product.
Yeah, and that's the thing is verifying the genuine nature of the company.
It sounds to me like this is something that an individual could do on their own.
You can do it on your own, yes,
but it's so enormously time-consuming.
Exactly right.
What they're getting from you is it's all been done for you. Here's the source.
Right.
Go to them. They'll work with you. That's amazing. That's what an invaluable product. I can see why you're getting the clamor of attention that you've been earning.
It's been great. It's a lot of fun.